Today we have a Craftsman with a 650 series Briggs & Stratton's at 6.5 gross foot torque, 21-inch mower, non-self-propelled. So far the funkery on this is pretty decent, but, well, I shouldn't say that, just we have some Harbor Freight wheels. And when I got it, the person didn't have the wheel attached in the back. He asked me to do it. Apparently tightening the nut was too much, but whatever. Then he said it just doesn't run. I don't know what that means. So I figure we're going to look at a few things beforehand and take it from there. What he did tell me though, I told him I didn't really want to do it, but he said to do it, and to be honest, I'm not going to say no to welding. There's a lot of slop in these. It's just how they're made. He wants it to be a little higher, so I told him I can weld like a nut or something in there, just on the bottom, just to have something anchored on. I told him I wouldn't recommend doing that, but if he really wants me to, I can, and he does. So, you know, I'm gonna do it. It's just a tack weld, so it's not going to be the world's most interesting thing, so I'll just show you the after of it. But the important thing is we want to check a couple things out. It has a mulch plug right there, which is interesting. I never really see those on this. He says it doesn't start, or excuse me, run. And that is completely solid in there. So I think we have at least a carb problem. Let's just turn this on right now then. There's a screw missing here though. I wonder if just the choke is always on. I don't know. But we're gonna find out. And we're missing a cable, which they have, like I said, funkeried it up. So we need a new cable. I think I have one of those already, but if not, they're pretty easy to get, and they're usually like a day to get here, so I'm not too worried about that. So I say I'm gonna look for a cable. If I do have one, we'll continue. If we don't, then I'll just order the cable. Oh no, actually I think I'll just put a zip tie there and see what happens. Basically, ooh. That's moving. Not very easily, but it's moving. Basically, I would take a pair of pliers, put that together. You could do it with your hands, but you know, I'd rather not. And then take a zip tie and just zip tie that together. Cautionary note. When you do that, there's no way to turn this off unless that is cut. So I don't like to do that at all, because if there is something wrong, then you have to be very fast at it. Whenever I do that, I do have a pair of snips in my hand at all times. With my other hand, I'm not using a start, and I make sure I have it clear and easy to pass available. So let's check the oil first. Whew, boy. That's nasty. I think I might just see if I can't use that cable system they have going on there just for the time being. Well, if I can't find a cable, let me look for a cable. I couldn't find the right cable, but I did find a cable. It just has a little bit too much travel. But it will always work. What we're going to do now is we're going to pull and see what happens, and then we'll go from there, see what we have to do. I'm pretty sure we have carb work just because of what I've seen so far, but I also don't see a spring. But I still want to give it a pull. Let's give you a more angle. Yeah, just as we thought. Choke is not disengaging. So I'm going to take off the remaining screw here. I'll just do that now, might as well. So we can get a better look. Let's get a better look together. So right here is a little mechanism. It should be moving back and forth, but it's not. A quarter of an inch is what you need to remove this. We are missing a spring, like I said there, so at the very least we're going to get a spring. I think I have one or two, but if not, we can order it. Beware though, those things, for whatever reason, I think it's because they like to go for walks pretty often, are pretty expensive in comparison to what they really are. You just have to wonder why it's so expensive for those things, but whatever. And for another strange enough reason, which I'm still not aware of why, also you can never get it fast. Never. If you needed a primer bulb or spark plug, pretty much anything, you could order it and be here in 2 days, 3 days. Even the OEM stuff. That spring, however, no, 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 no. Oh my. Yeah. Gas smells okay. But that carb, oh boy. So this is a choke plate, and this is supposed to, you know, control it. As you can tell, it's not really moving. Don't really want to force it too much. But you see all this stuff in here? Oops. All the stuff in here? Yeah, that is just junk. Old fuel, dirt, who knows? Probably the combination of the two. So we need to take the carb off and clean it. Now, yeah, we just need to clean it. So, in a pinch, maybe a squeeze, but you can just use some penetrating oil or other oils and loosen this up. Like I said, in a pinch, we're still going to clean it, but I kind of want to hear this thing run a little more. It's not that hard to take this right back off. And I'm not going to show the cleaning because, well, that would be cleaning number like 5,000 on this channel. I want to make sure that moves freely. And it does. So that's good. So we're going to tighten this down. Basically, there's a little arm that's controlled by the heat of the exhaust. That will move the arm forward. When it moves forward, it opens the choke. That's open. That's choked. Someone has been in here and did a little bit of damage from what I can tell. That little piece that's supposed to hold the spring on is bent. There we go. Don't want to bend it too much. So now we take this, we put it on like so. So now that spring always wants it to be closed. It's, you know, just that negative person in the office that always sees everything closed instead of open. But on the other hand, the exhaust is the positive one and keeps it open. It's kind of like your window at night. You're hot, but no, you can't have the window open because it's only 73 degrees inside the house, and that's too cold. But once it hits 75 degrees in the house, sound the alarms, turn on the air conditioning. So now we have all three of those in place. Let's put the air filter back in place. It's not the newest thing, but it's not horrible. If I remember correctly, the person told me they bought this from someone in this condition. Whenever I hear that, it's a little scary. Okay, I'm gonna give it a pull and we'll see what we get. Something to remember when we turn this on is if I put oil down the throat of the carburetor, it is going to be smoky. So we're gonna have a pretty decent smoke show. Like I said, the cable needs to be ordered, not gonna worry, but let's give it a pull. That was weird. That was almost full throttle. Let's adjust this a tad. Why don't we? So we know what we have to do. We have to clean the carb. Like I said, that's not going to be shown because it's the same thing over and over again. What we're going to do is I'm going to do that, get the cable ordered. When it comes in, we'll put it on, and then we'll do a little welding. But until then, it's going to be a couple days at least, but you're not going to notice a difference. We're going to get down to the welding. Now, this is a piece I had from a different project, pretty thin material. Now it's, when you put it in like so, if you, I mean, it still wants to move up a bit. So maybe if we put it in the bottom, definitely a little bit more secure, but at the same time we're not going to need a lot more of it. Oops. So because the bottom section from like here forward isn't even rolled, because it just kind of rolls down for, like, I'm assuming aesthetics or strength, who knows. And from there there's really no point. Maybe a little bit more. Pretty much it. So we need roughly that amount, probably on both sides. So let's just do the opposite on this one. I was thinking about rolling this down, but it's pretty hard. In addition to that, this bar isn't very hard to find. I probably have like 12 of them in the back of my garage. So it's not like if there's anything wrong with this, then we couldn't just put a new one on. No one would ever really notice the difference. It's the same bar. If we did anything to the actual deck, a couple things. If it doesn't work, it's gonna be a whole lot of work to actually correct it, and I'd have to take off the motor because I don't like working with gas and welding. I mean, granted, yes, I could probably do this 20 times a day for 3 years and maybe have one incidence of that something bad happening, but that's still one, and who knows, maybe I start off with one bad instance instead of ending with one, you know. So I'd much rather not deal with that. This I could take off easy and put it on my table easy. I don't have the biggest welding tables either, so it's going to be a lot easier just to do that in general. So I'm going to go do that, cut this, clean the bar up, tack it, and let's get this started. I don't really know how much this is going to be shown, but I cut it, put it on there. I'm going to try to block some of the light as much as possible, just so I can gather it. And marked it on the bar, cleaned the bar, stripped it of paint. So now we're bare metal. We're going to tack it into place. I think we should be good to go. Let's turn the machine on. Okay, everything is done and installed. Now that isn't moving hardly at all. Before it was rocking like a car at makeout point, but now not so much. Let's see. Welded both sides, so there's extra support, so it shouldn't be coming off anytime soon. I can honestly say I've never actually had to do that. Most people just kind of learn that that's part of, you know, craftsman fine engineering. Now let's put the cable on, put the little bend, push that through. The other side of the bail is not attached. Then once you attach it to the bail, put the bail back in the bar, and you're ready to go. So let's go ahead and put the bag on, give it a pull. In addition, so that's not usually the best. There's a couple ways of fixing it. The easiest way is this. Take it, put it on the floor. This part's important. Take a pretty heavy hammer, swedge, whatever, stand on it, and hit the end of it. Both sides. Now look at it, like it came off the factory floor. Now everything is done. Put the screws on top, did the cable, welded it. Everything should be secure now. And fix the handlebars. So if your handlebars are flattening out, you're either moving them too much when you adjust them. I see this happen a lot when you try to bend them forward. Maybe you have to bend it down to go in your garage, or I don't know, something, or in a truck, who knows. But if you're doing that and you're not loosening, that's a good way of doing it over time. If you're over tightening, that's another good way. Wheels are on now, and let's give it a pull and a shake. Not in that order. So it still has a little. A lot of it's just the deck. This wheel off. No, it's adjusted the same, but I think the deck is corked. Let's see. That's on this third one down. Oh, never mind. Now let's see. Okay, much better. Yeah, there's still a little play, but like I said, you can't get all of it. It's just gonna have a little bit. It's just pressed metal with tubing. What can you do? You also need to have a little bit of play for actually putting the bars together. So never really gonna get all of it, and even then, the higher end one is gonna have a little play too. So it's just what happens. Okay, well, if your bars are totally jacked up like these were, and you want to straighten them out a little bit and fix the loosiness of it, you're gonna follow this guide. If you have any trouble with your cable, you can definitely follow this. Like I said, it's not that hard. You saw me do it. It took like all of 10 seconds. But the main part is just fixing those bars. That's a real purpose of this. Okay, catch you in the next video. Subscribe. Later.